Hi everyone, welcome back to Adventure 365, and today I'm with Jim from Explore Off-Road and we're going to be working on his 110. We're going to be putting an injector wiring harness in. I have done one of these in the past but not for a long time, so it'll be sort of a refresher course for me, and I'll take you through doing the job. Jim's already made a start. He's taken the front cover off to expose the radiator, and now we've just got to pull off the rocker cover or the plastic cover over it to get to the actual real rocker cover underneath to get to the harness. So yeah, I think this is going to be a fun job because this engine's red hot as well. So let's get on with this. Jim was just saying that you probably only need two sockets to do this job, an 8mm and a 13mm. But it's a fairly common problem, isn't it, with these?
Yes. The oil.
Like I was just saying, this is a fairly common job on these. The oil gets into the wiring harness and runs back up towards the ECU. Like I was just saying, I've done one of these before, but not for a long time, and I think it was on this one, because I think this is on its third one. So we've got all the bolts here. Take all these off, and it takes the rocker cover off.
We need to take that back cover off,
and we need to get that back cover off.
It's difficult to get there.
So what you're saying is, don't take your truck out for a drive before you do this, because everything's bloody hot.
Yeah, absolutely. If we'd have ripped that cover off
before we had a brew,
it might have
let some of the heat out.
Yeah, just get a bit off.
I did that yesterday. There's while I was working on Beryl, I was doing the roof rack, and I stood on the watts, and it just went from under me. Lloyd's standing there going, "Where have you gone?"
Top hat just fell out of there. Stay down.
So once you've taken the covers off, the next job, just take the breather pipe off. I'm going to let Jim do that because he's got gloves on. Now this is a super simple job to do. Take off the top nuts that retain the rocker cover, and all the injectors are underneath the cover, and you can get straight to the wiring loom. It's an easy job to do and a stupid design as far as I'm concerned. Who wants wiring inside the engine? You need an impact gun.
Struggling with this hot engine.
Yeah, you can't put your hands on it, it's red hot. Is it a job to do in the winter while you can sit around a warm engine? I mean, this truck never gets used though, does it? No, it's never been off-road. Yeah, it is.
There you go. So we've got to try and keep this the right way up, or all the top hats will fall out. There you go.
So there you go, the inside of a TD5. Now Jim's going to point to the bit that we're going to be replacing, which is going to be that wiring harness.
5 cylinders.
So you've got the 5 cylinders and it plugs in
At the front.
just there. Straightforward job, guys. Dead easy. Should be done every 12 months.
They actually say 3 years.
I was going to say it's every 3 years it should be replaced. But right, let me get out of the way with the camera and let Jim carry on pulling that out. So Jim's going to point to the plug where it is, where it plugs into the head. Or into the head, and he's just had a look at it, and there doesn't look to be any oil migrating into the wiring harness. So
Just get a screwdriver lever out.
and just get that levered out, and it's a quick job to change it. So you can definitely say it's a straightforward job to do, and there's no oil in the Watsit either.
I've just got to unplug the injector.
And that's as complicated as it gets.
So we'll give those a squirt of brake cleaner in the plugs.
Get them washed out and
We'll give them a blow out with the airline. Yep, nice and clean.
Jim's got a new wiring harness, and it's just exactly the same as what we've just done, but in reverse. So you just plug it back in and put it all back together. It's a straightforward job, isn't it? And quite necessary sometimes, especially if you've got oil in your ECU.
You put all the others on, they're all on, are they?
Yep, they're all done.
That's it.
That's it.
Easy as.
Easy as, the job's all sorted.
At the front, I'll just go get some more plugs on.
Yeah, so we're going to, once this is all plugged back in, we've just got to plug the front in, put a new rocker gasket on. This job's done. That's how hard it is to do one of these. So it's not something to be afraid of. If it'll stay in place, there we go.
Yeah, the cover pushes that down.
There you go.
That is both sides.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
So we have a new rocker gasket, and obviously that goes on the rocker cover. It's always good practice to change the rocker gasket because they get hard and brittle. You can get away with it, what, a couple of times?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Right, we'll have to flip this over now.
And yeah, we'll flip this cover over and we'll end up losing all the top hats. Will they do it in there? Maybe. Oh no, they might stay here. Oh no, they'll come out when we take the cover off.
Yeah, but they're not going to go anywhere.
That's actually still quite supple, isn't it, that one?
Yep.
We might have got away with it.
Yeah, let's send this back.
Definitely don't recommend using any silicone or anything like that on these guys. This seal is perfectly adequate to seal that rocker cover. Right, I'm going to put the camera down for a second and give Jim a hand with this.
That's it. Simple as.
There we go, guys. You can't see the inside of the engine anymore, so it must be getting better. Doesn't always work in my case, but you might have to revisit it. But that is about as complicated as this job gets.
Do not over tighten these bolts.
Yeah, Jim's just saying, if you can't hear on my mic, don't over tighten these bolts. They only need to be like 10 Newton meters. You do not need a lot of pressure, because Jim was saying earlier that when he did this the first time, whoever put it on and put it on with silicone, and almost they were tight enough to have been put on with a rattle gun. It's surprising they hadn't stripped. So yeah, don't overdo it. It's less is more when you're putting these on.
It has been leaking a bit on the back.
Yeah, I saw that. It had been running down the back a bit.
That's why I put a new gasket on. That is in the hole, all right. Yeah, that's good. There's like a hole at the end of the cam. And that
Yeah, you've got
gasket.
the half moon cut out in the back, haven't you? And you do want that to definitely line up, because they do pee out oil if you don't have that in. And a moment of truth, rockers back on, they're all nipped up. Jim's just going to fire it up, make sure everything works. There you go. Sorted. Awesome, job's done. Put the cover back on, put the cover over the radiator, and that's it.
Yeah.
Easy as. So there you go, guys, all done. dead simple little job. Hope you find that useful. If you've got a TD5, you now have seen how to do the injector wiring harness. So I want to say a big thanks to Jim from exploreoffroad.com, because this is his truck. And that's it. Wrap this video up here, guys. So if you've enjoyed it, give us that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you on the next one.